as you can see, we've got some new gaskets to go on. Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're back on with the LC rebuild. Just to show you how easy it is to flip a gasket, make sure you don't get distracted while you're doing it. The one on the left's correct, because it follows it. The one on the right is incorrect. Just a little thing to just keep a bit of an eye out for while you're putting the gaskets on. Don't have someone talking to you while you're doing it, but yeah, there you go. So one on the left's correct, one on the right's incorrect. Let's flip that around now and we shall get cracking. That's the gaskets fitted. Now it's time for the next step. What you have to do is watch the alignment on the piston rings. So that's one in place. It's down the second cylinder now. And what you have on the cylinder is a chamfer that helps you put the piston into the cylinder. So what you get happening is the ramp on the cylinder actually helps the piston go in. And then what I tend to do as they come in, I just check everything's okay at this point. The ring's not out of place or anything like that. So that's the cylinders installed now. So the next step is just to check everything turns over okay. So Dad, you'll give the crank a spin, I'll hold the cylinders. It's fine. So it's always worth, if you can, money permitting, to use a genuine head gasket. In my experience, the miles better, the easier to remove. I know back in the day in the magazine that they used hematite and all sorts to get a bit more performance out of it, but I have had a 250LC before and it was really reliable just running the standard setup. Prior to that bike, the previous one which I sold, me putting it back to standard and having a rebar done and a genuine head gasket, the previous owner had actually used the red hematite on the cylinder head and it took ages to get it all off. It was just a nightmare really. Whereas with the genuine gaskets, they are better, but they are a one-time deal. You can't reuse them, that's the only downside, because if you look at the gasket, it is a composite gasket. It's made up of different layers. Which is why you don't need any sealing stuff. According to the book anyway, but obviously do your own research before you go deciding what to fit. And then we've wrapped the olive green head bolts, which are genuine, with just a bit of tape to protect them. And those are the superseded washers now. You can't get them olive green, unfortunately, which is a shame, but such is life. It's getting a lot harder to get the genuine parts now to do an LC. So yeah, there you go. So here's something you don't see every day. This is a genuine new old stock cylinder head. Never been used. Alongside my Nos cylinders, pistons, etc. and new old stock carbs. Yeah, it's quite an exciting engine build this. So the next step everyone is to tighten it down to the initial torque setting. There's two torque settings, obviously refer to your manual for that. There's an initial one and then your main tightening, obviously following the order from 1 to 8 on the cylinder head. So yeah, we've got more new old stock pastive green bolts going on. I thought I'd just give a bit of a recap on what I've done so far on the engine. So, I had the cases professionally cleaned by F&J Halliwell over in Ellesmere Port, who a lot of the lads on the Owners Club use, like the leading expert for stuff like that, in my local area anyway. So the next thing that we did was fit all genuine new crank seals, Gen-Yam. All the rest of the engine seals are all genuine Yamaha as well, which is expensive, but when you're dealing with new old stock components like we are, it made sense to do that. I've also fitted new old stock pistons, new old stock piston rings, new old stock gudgeon pins, and then we've also fitted new old stock gaskets, base, cylinder, and the big thing that this bike's got now is new old stock cylinders, new old stock cylinder head, new old stock bolts, new old stock bolt washers for the cylinder heads, and to go on next, a set of new old stock carburetors. Now you might ask, how on earth have I managed to find all these bits? Well, I've actually owned this LC for nearly 10 years now, pushing on 11 years, and it's constant looking, constant wandering around shows, looking for parts, speaking to people, being prepared to get bits from all over the world, travel all over the country at the drop of a hat when something comes up, which is why I managed to actually build pretty much a new old stock genuine Yamaha engine, which is something in my wildest dreams I never thought I'd be able to do, but you know, there you go, I've had the experience of putting one together. The question is, now, I did this fully with the intention of intending to ride the bike, but as you can tell with the shirt, I'm quite a naughty man, so the question is, do I get it running and ride it? Or I'm in a quandary. You know, you're never going to be able to replicate the finishes on the cylinder, or the cylinder head, or the bolts, or the carbs, you know, the Nos, the new old stock, which means genuine Yamaha old stock, which has been on a shelf in a dealership for 30 odd years. I don't know if it'd be even possible to build one like this again. I've also got a new old stock petrol tank to go on, and even new old stock exhaust and a new old stock seat. So it is a bit of a way up really, guys, what to do, because she's a UK 250LC as well. So yeah, answers in the comments. What would you do? Would you ride it, or would you let it go into a collection somewhere, or to a collector who's going to treasure the bike? So I don't know. It's a way up, isn't it? I don't even know what something like that would be worth, all new old stock. But yeah, it's been an interesting experience building the engine so far. So next thing I've got to do is fit the clutch, primary gears, got an oil pump that's been rebuilt by Arrow, who's the leading specialist to go on. So I'm going to fit that, and yeah, hope you enjoy, and I'll bring you another update soon.